Disclaimer: I am just a humble Genshin Impact fan. I do not own any of the rights to Genshin Impact, or any of the content within it, such as the lore books. Those specifically belong to Hoyoverse. What I do have, however, are friends with things like learning disabilities, such as dyslexia and ADHD, or very little free time, making reading the lore books either in-game or on wiki pages hard for them. Our solution to these problems has been for me to make these recordings so that they can listen to them and still get to enjoy Genshin lore like the rest of us. I have chosen to upload these recordings to YouTube as a way of sharing them with other fans within the community who might be in similar situations. I am admittedly no voice actress, trained narrator, or video editor, but I have tried my best, so please be gentle with me. Therefore, without further ado, let's get into today's story. Knights of Favonius Handbook, 5th edition. A code of conduct covering language usage and behavioral norms for Mondstat's Knights of Favonius, personally edited by Acting Grandmaster Jean. All knights are expected to strictly abide by these rules and regulate their words and deeds accordingly. Provided by Swan at the start of the World Quest, Question and Answer. This handbook is a guide on the core principles of the Knights of Favonius. Knights should carefully read the contents of this handbook and strictly hold themselves to the standards detailed within their life and work, serving the people of Mondstat as a model Knight of Favonius. As members of the Knights of Favonius, it is incumbent upon us to be the very embodiment of the 3 virtues of knighthood: modesty, honesty, and self-control. These are the 3 pillars of Mondstat's freedom. Remember, freedom cannot exist without the support of duty. The direct embodiment of these values comes, of course, in one's everyday speech and actions. Hence, this handbook outlines behavioral standards and language usage prescriptions that are intended to cover all potential scenarios that you may encounter in the course of duty. Section 1. A knight must exercise vigilance at all times, and must never treat any potential threat to Mondstat lightly. When it comes to your attention that a citizen of Mondstat is in need, you must come to their aid promptly and willingly, for it is a fundamental duty of the Knights of Favonius to be of service to the people of Mondstat. Section 2. When greeting a travelling merchant from a distant land, pay attention to express proper respect and courtesy. Do not exhibit suspicion or hostility towards them, no matter how suspicious they are. Approved language. Welcome to Mondstat, strange yet respectable travellers, wayfarers, guests. Please state your identity and intended destination. The Knights of Favonius are here to ensure your safety. Select the appropriate term of address accordingly. Prohibited language. 1. Hey, you! Stop right there! State your identity, you rascal, hooligan, ruffian, outlander, trespasser. 2. Welcome to the city of wind and song, otherworldly traveller, vagrant animal, burgeoning storm. Note: refrain from using vulgar or coarse language. It is especially important never to address the guest using pejorative nomenclature, for this is certain to make them feel most unwelcome indeed. Section 3. Never meet members of the public with an attitude of nonchalance or apathy. A responsible knight must always be ready to offer up both sword and sweat for the people's sake. Accordingly, during periods of rest, recreation, or relative inactivity, you must maintain a knightly disposition and be ready to fully re-engage in work matters at a moment's notice. Approved language. 1. Musing to oneself while on break. I shall check for any previously undiscovered safety issues in Mondstat, for I, as a knight, have a duty to safeguard Mondstat at all times. 2. Conversing with city folk at the tavern. As a knight, I am expected to gain an understanding of people's day-to-day needs and concerns. This knowledge is also indispensable to me in the performance of my duties. Note: even when there is no work to be done whatsoever, it is not permissible to take a gratuitous amount of downtime at your own discretion. Prohibited language. 1. On active guard duty. Imagine having a lifetime supply of cider. 2. While taking a break. Noelle, have you got a minute? Note: The acting Grand Master has instructed Noelle to immediately report any work-shy knights who attempt to delegate their existing duties to her. It should go without saying that this behavior is entirely unacceptable. Penalties for violations will take the form of reduced vacation allowance and/or salary deductions. The next time you consider shirking your duties, you are strongly advised to consider whether the consequences are worth it. Section 4. While the Knights of Favonius respect the important place of wine in Mondstadt's cultural heritage, it is nevertheless expected that knights will exercise due self-control with regard to their alcohol intake. It is not permitted to be drunk while on duty, and it is strictly forbidden to encourage or facilitate the consumption of alcohol by minors. Note: Knights of Favonius who are not of legal drinking age are forbidden from consuming alcohol. Accordingly, minors must always be accompanied by an adult co-worker when entering taverns and other premises where alcohol is served. Section 5. New. Owing to a recent increase in fatui activity in the city, knights are reminded that it is forbidden to disclose details of any matters concerning the Knights of Favonius operations and strategic development to any persons from outside the organization while not on active duty. Section 6. In the event of a major Mondstat-wide emergency, Knights of Favonius are expected to lead by example and act to safeguard human lives and property. In times of crisis, when people come to you with questions, it is important to answer them clearly, calmly, and to remind them to prioritize their personal safety at all times. Approved language. 1. Please do not worry. The Knights of Favonius will do their utmost to protect Mondstat. 2. When danger is imminent, please do not panic. Cover your head with both hands, crouch down to protect your vital parts. Then follow the instructions given to you by the Knights of Favonius crew, who will lead you to safety in a swift and orderly fashion. 3. New. Please rest assured that even though Grandmaster Varka is not currently in Mondstat, the Knights of Favonius are quite well equipped to deal with this crisis in a swift and elegant manner. Only applicable during the Grandmaster's absence. Prohibited language. 1. Uh-oh, we've never had to deal with a situation like this before. 2. Even the knights are powerless in the face of a crisis of this magnitude. Note: even in extreme cases where the crisis is indeed of a kind that has not been seen before, it is imperative that you do not appear overwhelmed in front of members of the public, and that you do not do or say anything that calls into question the capabilities of the Knights of Favonius. Section 7. When greeting travelers from afar, please act hospitably by informing them of the locations of essential businesses and services, recommending popular tourist destinations, and giving any further assistance that they may request or require. Approved language. 1. If it's your first time here, I recommend visiting Mondstadt's cathedral. 2. If you're tired, go have some of Mondstadt's famous wine at a tavern called Angel's Share. Section 8. Remember to espouse the virtues of modesty and honesty also in your interactions with co-workers and companions. That is to say, be self-efficaciing in conversation with comrades and be open and truthful with them. Nurturing and maintaining a sense of camaraderie and solidarity between all our knights is our first line of defense against the enemy. Approved language. That was wonderful. I've never had a battle experience like that before. Note: avoid exaggerating your speech to the point where you become overbearing. Your words and tones should simply express a sufficient degree of respect and cordiality towards your fellow knights. Section 9. As guardians of Mondstat serving as the shield of the Animo Archon, the Knights of Favonius must set an example for others to follow. Under no circumstances should any knight ever violate the rules and regulations of Mondstat. If any knight is found to have damaged public property or the private property of a citizen of Mondstat while not on duty, following a damage assessment, an amount equivalent to the damages caused shall be deducted from the salary and/or bonus of the knight in question. Knights who are minors at the time of the violation, and who therefore do not receive a formal salary, will be penalized with solitary confinement in lieu of a fine, with the period of incarceration to be determined based on the severity of the violation. The fish and other aquatic life found in Mondstadt's lakes and rivers are classified as public property, and as such must not be destroyed under any circumstances. Section 10. Knights of Favonius should always remain vigilant and exercise due caution when dealing with strangers. Even when dealing with non-hostiles, a knight should clarify to the stranger their rights and responsibilities as an outsider, explaining the rules and customs of Mondstat in a firm but fair manner. Amendment 1. Extra scrutiny is required when dealing with visiting diplomats from other nations whose activity gives cause for concern. Section 11. In the interests of preventing incidents involving wind glider users, Knights of Favonius should pay close attention to aerial activity in the region. Knights are required to perform spot checks on users of wind gliders and ensure that the details therein are current and valid. Should you observe any illegal aerial activity within the city, you should shout to the offender at the top of your voice, imploring them to cease gliding immediately. Should they persist, you should take such further action as is necessary to de-escalate the situation. Note: even if the airborne offender is an off-duty member of the Knights of Favonius, this is no cause for leniency. You have full authority to revoke the offending party's gliding license should you deem this to be an appropriate course of action. Appendix. Terminology notes. 1. Knightly virtues. Refers to the 3 core virtues of modesty, honesty, and self-control espoused by the Knights of Favonius. The 3 are mutually reinforcing and treated as a collective. Knights must conduct themselves in accordance with these 3 virtues at all times. 2. Terms of address. Refers to the various honorifics used to address members of the public, including visitors to Mondstat. As public servants to the free people of Mondstat and hosts to others from beyond our borders, we are expected to use the appropriate terms of address in all encounters as an act of courtesy. An education in etiquette is mandatory for all serving knights. 3. Duty. Refers to our responsibilities to serve the people of Mondstat and protect the freedom of Mondstat. Officially appointed Knights of Favonius should refrain from talking flippantly or irreverently about their responsibilities or their honor as a knight in their day-to-day lives, so as to preserve the dignity of our organization's reputation. 4. The Animo Archon. New. The Animo Archon Bapetos is the god of wind and song, the grantor and guardian of Mondstat's freedom, and the one whom the people of this land place their faith. As an organization, the Knights of Favonius heed the will of the Animo Archon. This means that we must be prepared to go to war in the event that Mondstat's freedom comes under threat. Note: need to add additional material on this term. Several members of the Knights of Favonius, and even the Church, seem not to have any belief in the Animo Archon at all. 5. The Fatui. Diplomats and other agents of Snezhnaya stationed here in Mondstat. They are afforded diplomatic immunity within our borders. Their activities are shrouded in mystery and deceit, and their intentions are obscure. Warning: always be wary around members of the Fatui. If you observe any suspicious activity, report it to headquarters immediately while taking care to prioritize your personal safety. 6. The Abyss Order. An ancient, mysterious group of enemies from the Abyss. No one knows how they came to be or what they seek. Occasionally, they can be spotted causing trouble near Mondstat. Warning: members of the Abyss Order are highly dangerous enemies. If you encounter one, exercise extreme caution and report its location and activity to headquarters as soon as possible. 7. Storm Terror's Lair. New. Refers to the ruins that lie to the northwest of Mondstat. Legend holds that this area was once a city where a tyrant ruled from his tower. It has since become occupied by Dvalin, who shelters himself there. For this reason, these ruins have now been named Storm Terror's Lair. Other information. The Bix cover says Knight's Guide in the language of Teyvat. When we first meet Amber, she breaks Section 2 by using prohibited language. Klee is constantly breaking Section 9. There are multiple examples that can be used of Vaka and Kaya towing the line but not breaking a number of different sections. Other names. Sources. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Ad Astra Abasos.